everyone. Today we are going to learn the new lesson of 10th standard, that is the extension of the British rule. In this lesson, we will learn the topics: the Anglo-Maratha Wars, the consolidation of the British power, subsidiary alliance, Anglo-Sikh Wars, and lastly we will see about the doctrine of lapse. Let's start one by one. First we will see about the introduction. Through Carnatic Wars, the English had made other European countries not to challenge them in India. They gained complete political control over Bengal through Plassey and Buxar battles. In previous lesson also we have discussed in Battle of Buxar and Plassey, both the battles, British was successful. By 1756 they had gained control most of the eastern parts of India. Since the Marathas and Mysore state were dominant in the southern and western part of India, the hold of the British was restricted to Bengal and Mumbai regions only. Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan of Mysore, along with the Peshwas of Marathas, were the only enemies in the path of the expansion of the British. The others were Sikhs in the northern western region. Ranjit Singh, who emerged in the latter part of 19th century, was a formidable opponent to the British. He was successful in organizing the Sikhs. The British also waged repeated wars from the mid of the 18th century to the mid of the 19th century to extend their kingdom in India. Apart from this, they has also annexed different kingdoms with the cunning policies like subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. During this period, the British waged 3 Anglo-Maratha wars, 4 Anglo-Mysore wars and 2 Anglo-Sikh wars. Since the Anglo-Mysore wars we will discuss in unit 4, here we shall only understand about the Anglo-Maratha wars and Anglo-Sikh war. First we will see about Anglo-Maratha war. In this we have to deal with the 3 Anglo-Maratha wars. First we will see about first Anglo-Maratha war. First Anglo-Maratha war between the period 1775 to 1782. The Marathas installed Shah Alam II back on the throne of Mughal Empire in Delhi. Shah Alam was under the care of British after the defeat in Buxar war. Now the emperor gave Allahabad to the Marathas, which he had earlier given them to the Britishers. This resulted in the enmity between Marathas and British. During this period, the death of Madhav Rao, a strong man, Madhav Rao Peshwa, was a major setback to the Marathas. Though his brother Narayan Rao came to power, he was murdered by his uncle Raghunath Rao. This resulted in the infighting for the Peshwa post. The Marathas Federation brought Madhav Rao II of Narayan Rao to the post of Peshwa. Upset with this development, Raghunath Rao approached to the Britishers for the support. The Britishers thought of exploiting this situation in their favor. A long war was waged from 1775 to 1782 between Marathas and British. Here in that the scenario of this battle is, first of all, Shah Alam previously in the Battle of Buxar we have seen the Shah Alam was defeated and here was under the control of Britishers. But Marathas has supported to Shah Alam and he once again become the king of Delhi in Mughal Empire, and afterwards Shah Alam has given a place Allahabad to the Britishers, to the Marathas, and Britishers was not happy with this situation. Due to this reason, in the same situation, the war of succession is going on, especially after the death of Madhav Rao. The Britishers won. First of all, after Madhav Rao, his brother Narayan Rao has become the king, but his uncle was not happy and he has murdered his Narayan Rao has been murdered by Raghunath Rao. In the same scenario, the Maratha Federation has want to make the new person Madhav Rao II as the new Peshwa. For this reason, Raghunath Rao has asked support from the Britishers, and Britishers are eagerly waiting for the opportunity and they are ready given support to the Raghunath Rao. Finally, they have fought a war, but initially in the Marathas gained upper hand, but later they lose Allahabad to the British and Marathas Federation unable to sustain the war with the British. Finally, they entered Salbhai Agreement and ended the war, and afterwards Madhav Rao II was named as Peshwa. This is the scenario of first Anglo-Maratha war. Now after dealing with the first Anglo-Maratha war, now we will discuss about the subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley in the year 1798. The expansion of the British Empire took place in the larger pace after the arrival of Lord Wellesley as the Governor General of India. By this time, the powerful states of Marathas and Mysore became weak and the expansion was easier. Lord Wellesley followed three policies to expand the British Empire in India. They were subsidiary alliance, weighing war against new states, and administrating the state directly that were under the control of British. Subsidiary alliance. Lord Wellesley brought this policy into effect in 1798 in order to bring the Indian states under their control. This was basically a military protection agreement between East India Company and the Indian states. Now we will see what are the conditions or features of subsidiary alliance. The condition of subsidiary alliance. The first point it is the Indian kings had to keep the British army in his kingdom. The concentrated state had to bear the expansion of the army and the wages of the soldiers and also had to give certain revenue land tax as well. The king has to have a British resident in his court. The king could not appoint any other European without the permission of the British. In order to enter any agreement or pact with any Indian government, the permission of the Governor General was mandatory. In return, all these services, the company could offer protection to the state from any internal or external aggression. Aggression means attack. The British could place Indian states under their control through this policy, and maintenance of the army become easy. The Indian states were subjected severe economic exploitation. The Hyderabad state was the first state to enter this agreement. Later, Mysore, Awadh, Tanjavur, Maratha, Pune, Berar, Gwalior and other states entered this agreement. Here Awadh it is in Uttar Pradesh, Tanjavur it is in Tamil Nadu, Maratha, Pune you are familiar about that, Berar is in Haryana, Gwalior is also in Uttar Pradesh and other states they have accepted these agreements. Now we will see about Second Anglo-Maratha War. Second Anglo-Maratha War between 1803 to 1805. The differences among the Marathas chieftains. Chieftain means the leader of a clan, and clan means group of family related to each other. It is called as clan, and chieftain is a leader of a clan. The differences among the Maratha chieftains was the reason for this war. The enmity broke out between Yashwant Rao of Holkar family and Daulat Rao of Sindhia family, along with Peshwa Balaji Rao II. In 1802, the army of Holkar defeated the army of Sindhia and the Peshwa. The Peshwa appealed for the help from the British. Lord Wellesley finally got an opportunity to meddle with the affairs of Marathas. The Peshwa entered the subsidiary alliance system by accepting the Treaty of Basel. Opposing this treaty, Lord Wellesley defeated the armies of different Marathas families in 1803 to 1805, but his battle prestige increased. Lord Wellesley resigned from the post and returned to the England. This resulted in the peace in the region. Here also in Second Anglo-Mysore War, internal rivalries is going on between the Marathas, especially between two families. Yashwant Rao, it is belongs from the Holkar family, and another person from Sindhia family, it is Daulat Rao, and along with the Peshwa Balaji Rao II. These two persons are fighting, and when they have Holkar defeated the army of Sindhia and Peshwa. That time Peshwa has asked help from the Britishers, and Lord Wellesley directly ready to support to the Peshwas. Finally they have signed an agreement, Treaty of Basel. Here also we can say in both the Anglo-Maratha War, British only successful and Marathas is on the loose side. Now after Second Anglo-Maratha War, Third Anglo-Maratha War between 1817 to 1818. The Marathas families tried their best to protect their independence and honor. Even the Peshwa attempted to free himself from the clutches of the company. The Peshwa attacked the British residency in Pune and burned it down. Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Malhar Rao Holkar rebelled against the British and were suppressed ruthlessly. Finally, Peshwa Baji Rao II fought against the British at Koregaon and Assi and later surrendered to the British. The British abolished the Peshwa post and granted a pension to Balaji Rao II. They installed Pratap Simha the descendant of Shivaji as the ruler of Satara, a Maniculous state, and named him as the traditional leader of Marathas and suppressed the Maratha resistance. Here also in Third Anglo-Mysore War, now Marathas has realized their mistake, what they are every time asking support from the Britishers. For this reason, they started to get their independence and they fought for their honor. Here, due to this reason, the Peshwa has attacked on the Marathas residency in British residency in Pune, and in that also Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Malhar Rao also supported to the Peshwa, but due to the military power of the Britishers, here also British was successful, and finally they have removed the post of Peshwa and appointed another person, the Pratap Singha. He belongs to the family of Shivaji, generation of Shivaji. Declare him as the ruler of Satara. This is the third Anglo-Maratha war. Now next we will see about the consolidation of the British power. The British completed their agenda of ruling entire India from 1818 to 1857. They occupied major states like Sindh, Awadh and many other smaller states. First, now we will see about Anglo-Sikh War. A political anarchy broke out in Punjab after the death of Ranjit Singh in 1839. Anarchy means state of being without any authority. It is called as anarchy. The British attempted to invade Punjab, violating the continuous friendship pact. Pact means agreement they had with the erstwhile kings. In December 1845, a war broke out between the British and the Punjab. Sensing the danger from the outside force, Hindus, Sikhs and Punjab and Muslims got together to defeat British. Finally, they had to accept defeat due to few traitor leaders, means few leaders are not supported to them. They are doing fraud or betrayal to their natives. They signed an humiliating Lahore Agreement in 1846. With the British resident become the de facto ruler of Punjab. Like this, Punjab became the dependent state of East India Company. The Sikh opposed the attempts by the British to rule Punjab directly. The opposition were led by Chatar Singh Atharwala in Lahore and Mulraj in Multan. Again, the people of Punjab were defeated. Finally, Lord Dalhousie merged the state of Punjab with the British Empire. Now, after Anglo-Sikh War, we will see about the doctrine of lapse. Dalhousie, who arrived in India as a Governor General in 1848, made an attempt to integrate Indian princely states with the British Empire. He adopted doctrine of policy whereby the adopted children of the Indian kings were refused to their right to the throne. According to this policy, if any Indian ruler dies without children, their adopted children had no legal right over the throne, and such states get merged with the British Empire. Princely states like Satara, Nagpur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Jaipur came under their control due to this policy. As the Governor General knew the condition of these states, he used this policy as a political weapon. With the severe implementation of this policy, not only the princely families, even the ordinary people who sympathetic to these kings rebelled against the company. Their love for their kings and a sense of loyalty fueled this rebellion further. This finally resulted in the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857. Here we have covered all the topics, the subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse and Anglo-Maratha War as well as Anglo-Sikh War. If you are having any doubt, you can ask us in the comment section. Thank you.